Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for participating in the Innovative City Forum. The Innovative City Forum is an international conference with the topic of designing the future for global cities and lifestyles. We have gathered experts from Japan and all over the world who are leaders in their respective fields, such as cutting-edge technology, art and creative, urban development, and economy and industry, and we will have discussions, information exchange, and networking across different fields and domains. Now we would like to begin the Innovative City Forum, the Japan Foundation Asia Center session. Reverse idea. In search of new coordinates from Asian Dynamism.
Now, I would like to introduce, we would like to have a few words from Mr. Andrea Pompilio, who will be serving as a facilitator of the session. Mr. Andrea Pompilio, the floor is yours. Please come up to the stage. Please send the round a bit close to him. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Innovative City Forum. There have been various discussions going on since yesterday, as well as presentations. So you've been exposed to the various topics. It's quite interesting. For example, capitalism, the way of capitalism, or how to shape the future. There are many opinions and voices raised. So it was a good finding to see how people think. So today at the Japan Foundation Asia Center session, the session is titled as the Reverse Idea, with the given themes, together with inspiring guest speakers. We would like to touch upon some of the hints which cultivate the future together with you. I will be serving as a moderator of the session. Once again, my name is Andrea Pompilio. Thank you. All right, now we would like to start the session. First speaker is the keynote and speech is titled as the Evolution of Islamic Fashion in Current Affairs, to be presented by Ms. Alia Khan, the Islamic Fashion and Design Council.
With a big round of applause.
Thank you, Andy. Great Japanese, by the way. You're kind of like a bit of a reverse idea yourself, wouldn't you say? How is everyone today? I like to say Assalamu alaikum, which is peace be upon you. And Japan is becoming so near and dear to my heart that I genuinely wish it peace and blessings. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Mr. Suzuki and his amazing team for hosting this incredible trip. What an event so far. Are we enjoying it? Yes? Good, good. Today I'd like to speak to you about the evolution of Islamic fashion in current affairs. And I think what's first and foremost interesting to say is it's been quite an evolution. So I head up the Islamic Fashion and Design Council. We set up the council to support and develop a growing industry. It's the modest fashion and lifestyle industry, which is primarily headed and in most demand by the growing Muslim population globally. Hence, it's an Islamic lifestyle platform. And I would say that we've inadvertently started a type of a revolution. It's quickly becoming coined the modest revolution, and we've sort of been the minds behind it, inadvertently, I would say. What we basically did to open the gates to this revolution was that we basically worked on ideas and strategies and projects that continue to impact this modest space and the way it spans throughout lifestyle. And so now it effortlessly exhibits itself globally. So pretty much in every corner of the world, you will be exposed to the modest lifestyle, modest fashion, the Islamic faith-based style perceptions, more so now than ever before. So what it means to be a Muslim today is unlike any other era. The Islamic faith-based guidelines are something that practicing Muslims strive to preserve since the revelation of this faith. And I think this background is very important for you to understand the ideas behind Islamic fashion and why it's embraced so passionately to this day. So in today's era, the challenge for Muslims is to hang on to their faith, keep the balance in their belief system, whilst increasingly being influenced by the Western influences, which is led by television, film, toys, video games, that, as we can see today, we have no choice, but it infiltrates our children and even ourselves to a degree whether it's within or beyond our control. This, coupled with the pressures that a set of politicized criticisms targeted at Muslims, has created a new type of challenge, I would say, for the average Muslim person, who is, in their own mind, no different than you. But in the minds of the political construct, or perhaps even the media, they have been handpicked to be spoken about in a very different and unique manner. Hence, the challenge that they face is to approach their life with dignity, a level of wit, and of course sincerity, while they strive to fulfill their hopes of being a positive contributor to society, whilst also combating the Islamophobia and stereotypes that may very well even exist in your minds. So, modest dressing built this narrative for Muslims in unprecedented ways. It started becoming a language, an unspoken language, that started introducing the Muslim in a light that they felt they had more control over. So, Islamic fashion and design essentially rebranded the perception of Muslims. So the key to Muslim life, a Muslim would tell you, is to live by sound ideology. Now, you might ask, what is sound ideology? Because it could mean many things to many people. But the essence of the idea of sound ideology is something that has remained proven era after era, generation after generation, century after century, without posing an argument against it. So for all of the 1441 years of Islam's existence, Islamic practices have remained the same. When a practice keeps proving its concept generation after generation, it is deemed to be sound ideology. Sound ideology proves to be ideas, practices, and systems that work irrespective of the time that you're living in. Sound ideology never needs to be altered because it is beyond us. It is what we believe that has been derived from divine revelation. Muslims learn through consistent, honest practice of their faith that sound ideology is their sound guide to their life. So, what the Muslims know is that early on in their journey, they had to embrace and learn a type of knowledge that was revealed to them in a book called the Quran. This book is believed to be revealed to them by God, and it is a sort of help for all of mankind. The powers and ideas in this holy book have baffled many minds around the scientific world. The Quran continues to amaze the most skeptical of people who are impressed by how proven scientific theories were discussed in this book well before they were discovered by science. The book also provides a range of other important information that has proven to be optimal practices in business, finance, health, social, and family life. Hence, the book is an all-encompassing, holistic approach to optimal, successful life. So, because this book has stood the test of time and continues to guide Muslims from the early generations to the current generation, the Muslims have developed this unwavering confidence in it because it continues to prove itself. In fact, God promises in the Holy Quran that the message of the Holy Quran will remain intact till the end of time, and it cannot be destroyed. So, just to pick a few things to give you by way of example, the Quran mandates our lifestyle to a large degree. An example of that would be that we are told in the Quran to live in a clean, just, ethical, and legal manner. And all actions must be filled with good treatment and respect for all. There's a verse in chapter 6, verse 38, that says, "There is not an animal that lives on the earth, nor a being that flies on its wings, but they are communities like you. Nothing have we omitted from the book, and they all shall be gathered to their Lord in the end." So all has been considered within this book that the Muslim embraces and lives by. So the Muslims have a basic prime set of 5 principles that they live by. This is their primer to their practices, their beliefs, and their day-to-day lives. The first one, and this is not in any particular order, includes an active meditative connecting with the power source called God. And this is done 5 times a day. It's their 5-time prayer. Then the second one is a rejuvenation of your health system through fasting for 30 days each year. And they believe that and science has proven now, once you fast for 30 days, a lot of diseases can be eliminated, combated, and placed under control. Another one is sharing a minimum of 2.5% of their wealth to ensure human development and betterment for all. And the fourth one is taking a journey to the energy center in Mecca, where their connection to the power source is renewed in order to keep correct their internal navigation system. This is a navigation system that to this day science hasn't been able to get a handle on. And it's comprised of instincts, gut feelings, inclinations, and ideas that science cannot explain and cannot help you to control fully. We believe that once we have our navigation system intact, we go out in our day-to-day lives, we make the better choices, we are better guided to be optimal as human beings. And this is why the 5th and the most important principle is the source itself. The belief in the one and only God, the highest power, the real source of all things good. We learn through our practices that by just setting our belief on God, we have activated the powers. And of course, we believe that Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, is the guide who shows us, by example, how these powers are activated and realized. So he was brought on this earth as a real example for us to follow. Few examples of what we have learned from Muhammad is that he has mastered the art of, and this is very important to my industry, the fashion and lifestyle industry, is mastering the art of underspending, upcycling, sharing, and swapping clothing. Ensuring the food that he ate was tayyib, which is a type of pure in which scientists now are finding a direct link between negative anxiety and hormones being transferred through us through our food. Hence, Muslims must ensure that their food is tayyib, so they transfer only the good from the animal that it came from, of course. He often woke up before sunrise and meditated with affirmations in the morning, followed by the morning prayer, napping in the middle of the day to optimize his brain. And he would only eat in moderation, having 1/3 for drink, 1/3 for food, and 1/3 for the air that we breathe. He would not sip from chipped mugs since they accumulated bacteria. And today, of course, science has proven all of this. Today, we know that naps can restore alertness. They enhance performance and reduce mistakes and accidents. A study at NASA on sleepy military pilots and astronauts found that a 40-minute nap improved performance by 34% and alertness by 100%. Meditation activates our parasympathetic nervous system, which triggers a deep state of relaxation during the practice. So even though you may wake up from sleep still tired, after meditating for 20 minutes, it is proven that you will get energy-boosting endorphins. Another practice that the fashion industry is heavily criticized for is payment and treatment of the workers. We were taught that pay the worker his wages before his sweat has dried. And this is one of these principles that has been taught to pretty much every child at a young age. So, modest, when you hear this, when it comes to modest fashion and lifestyle and even certain types of products that are related to the modest lifestyle, is a type of lifestyle where our behavior tends to remain more reserved and our dressing is conservative yet elegant. So we begin with the hijab. As you might know, hijab is a veil, it's a covering. Many misunderstand the concept of hijab to mean that it is a physical scarf on a woman's head. Whilst that's a small component of what hijab is, it hardly scratches the surface on the true meaning of the idea behind hijab. So, what requires a hijab is the all-encompassing facets, the various facets of hijab, which begin with the eyes. There's a hijab of the eyes, where we are told to be careful of what we allow ourselves to see so as not to be disturbed. For example, pornography, violent films, morally desensitizing material is highly damaging to us. So we are taught to remove our gaze from such things. There's a hijab of the ears, ensuring that we listen to only positive things and not degrading rhetoric, which can alter and has proven to alter a positive state. There's a hijab of the tongue, actively stopping ourselves from backbiting, using harsh words, being angry and saying things that we will later regret. There's a hijab of the mind, which essentially transfers to our character, which means that we avoid low-grade tendencies, adhering to unkind thoughts, unloving and unforgiving ways. We make sure that we fill our minds with humility and positive thoughts, and we don't think badly of others, and we give as much of the benefit of the doubt as possible. And the physical hijab, of course, guards our modesty whilst keeping us, helping us to be preservers of dignity in society. Because by nature, coverings are a protection, and our covering in the way we choose to dress is a form of preservation of dignity. This leads us to naturally seeing the development of a third space. The third space is an important place that has been naturally created with the over $400 billion spending power that the global Muslim population now has seen a change, a turn of a certain type of a system that has occurred in the business world. Now businesses are highly coveting the Muslim audience and the Muslim consumer. This third space has not only evolved in a commercial construct, it's also evolved in a social and a political and of course the economical construct where there's a hybrid, an east-west hybrid that more of the global population is beginning to identify with. This third space provides one from the modest lifestyle, a respectable existence. It allows them to feel the norm of being a part of today's world without sacrificing their values and principles, resulting in a collective political, commercial, and social success model that is becoming a global influencer in and of itself. Now, the growing number of Islamic or modest lifestyle industry leaders in this third space are afforded the opportunity to set a priority on moral excellence, whilst representing lucrative opportunities in the East and the West. So businesses in this space must always stay on top of what the spiritual construct of these people are, what they embrace by way of meaning and depth, rather than just shallow products that they would adorn on themselves or within their homes. The third space does narrow the gap through common ground interests whilst building the rights of the brand, consumer, society, and planet. For Muslims, hope had come in the face of modesty. With this, we have both a challenge and an opportunity to tap into a multifaceted culture found in all corners of the world. Instead of adhering to a more hollow supply-demand model, we have now set a new tone, using a set of morals and spiritual ethics in life that doesn't seek outward validation alone. It's a system that promises to create global economies around higher values. We free ourselves from secular values based on breaking the rules or power calling the shots, where values are only legitimate if one can justify it through a man-made construct, a man-made spiritual construct, or a scientific, biological, or mathematical argument, which falls short of the sound ideology which I just described to you, proposed centuries ago, that has proven for the Muslim to work for this valuable consumer market over and over again. And the sooner businesses understand this, the easier it will be for them to connect with this consumer profile. The proof of concept is that we find ourselves everywhere. We find ourselves, we find this type of a curiosity that has developed in all corners of the world. And this new construct helps us to monitor our messaging and position the reality of who we are with measurable results. This third space invites all to adhere to proven ethics in business and social models based on justice. So, modest fashion in a way has disproven and maybe even quashed the idea of Islamophobia. The popularity of Islamic fashion really thrashes the stereotypes now, doesn't it? Now a new society of strong, self-believing, and empowered women emerge who are unapologetically Muslim. And with their unapologetical Muslim male counterparts, they are taking the lead in demonstrating the measurable benefits that a lifestyle led by self-accountability and faith-based rules yields to all. Their look is their own. Their character is built on values. Islamic fashion has proven that it does not rely on validation, acceptance, or explanation to justify its existence and success. This is an empowering message for all. Breaking the bondage with peer pressure is liberating. With the Islamic lifestyle, we can be real, be a unique type of beautiful, and preserve proven values set forth from the beginning of time. It allows us to release ourselves from seeking the gaze or approval of others. The race is not toward popularity, only toward positive contribution in society. And with that, I thank you for hearing the presentation, and I really do look forward to engaging with you after the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Khan. Fantastic presentation. 確かにIslamic fashion.
Yes, indeed, Islamic fashion, as you say. When I heard her presentation, I've never actually studied about this, and we don't have much opportunity to have contact with such culture. However, listening to her presentation, I felt similarity between Islamic culture and Japanese culture. That means that Japanese clothes, you just would not wear it. You would just put it on your body. And that is a close, I think, a similarity with the Islamic fashion. And people would always say that season and nature, we should wear that, we should have that fit into our body. So these type of, I think, in the fashion arena, even though we have the similarities between the Islamic world and Japanese world. It was shocking to me that Islamophobia, she mentioned this word, Islamophobia. Well, at this in this era, why do we have this? For beliefs, your religion that you believe in, why are you scared of it? Of course, if you go further into the depths, there may be some responsibility of the mass media, which I'm part of it. So what we need mostly at this moment is the education, right education. There is a shift of value and thinking, way of thinking, and that's a necessity that I felt strongly. But that was excellent. I think fighting Islamophobia through fashion was her message, I believe. Through fashion, the culture and value and your belief and religion should be conveyed and communicated. That was her message.